First and foremost, before we move any further, I just want this to be clear. What I'm about to show you actually happened, and in no way, shape, or form am I suggesting that Insomniac's Miles Morales game is going to show up at this ID at Xbox show. Right now, some of you are probably being like, what the H is he even talking about? Let me show you, folks. And I have it ready to go. Here we go. Now, take a look at this, folks. What you're seeing in front of you is a paused screen at the 3-second mark of the announcement trailer for the ID at Xbox cross IGN showcase, which of course is being called a fan fest. It's happening February 24th. And what you see on the left is a bit blurred, so you can't really tell. But what you see on the right there is Miles Morales from the films. Now, we're talking about the Spider-Verse films, Miles Morales, not the Insomniac made game that came out a couple of years ago. That is and has been confirmed to be, because I've done the side-by-side investigation. I've had people send me DM after DM. Boom, you're right, that's him. So the big question, Hargeet, is what is Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse films doing in the preview, the reel of the indie showcase that is happening? That is what is the big question. Now, no one from Sony has come out to debunk it. No one from Xbox has come out to debunk it. Certainly no one from IGN has said anything. So I have a thought and I have a theory. Now, we know that there is going to be a significant amount of people at this event. And what I did is I pulled a story where it kind of breaks down everything that's happening. Now, this was written by Heidi Nicholas over at trueachievements.com. And it really does break down what's happening on the 24th. So I want to read the article verbatim, folks, so just bear with me. It says an ID and Xbox showcase is scheduled for February and will take place on February 24th as part of the 2025's IGN Fan Fest. We're always hoping that more Game Pass news, but we do know we'll see more from one of the best indie games on Xbox, with details on Baltro's next big collaboration, which is, it was in the trailer. A lot of people got excited for that. I did not like the game. I'm going to try it again. I know when I say that, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, I bought it. I couldn't connect, but I'm going to give it the old college effort again. But I do want to kind of just give you some more details on who is going to be at this showcase. Now, according to the article, the showcase is set for the end of the month, but we already have some information on what will be shown. IGN's announcement says that the studios involved in the showcase include 11-bit, Didac, No More Robots, Raw Fury, Thunder Lotus, Team 17, Curve, Acapura, Don't Nod, and more. Now, the one of the last ones on the list, Hargeet, is where I'm going with my next opinion. Now, granted, folks, I have not heard anything behind the scenes. I don't know anything. It's just a stab in the dark. If there was a studio that had similar styles of artwork in their games when they tell their stories, it's Don't Nod. And again, this is not saying that this is happening. This is just a theory. Again, you have to ask the question, why is the character of Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse films in this trailer? That's the big question. And could it be that Don't Nod will be announcing some sort of Spider-Verse related game? Now, I know there's going to be people in the chat, whether you're doing it to be a troll, whether you're doing it because you don't actually know. I want this to be clear. Sony owns the rights for the live action Spider-Man and all of its characters, all 900 of the characters in that universe. They do not own the right for the toys, for the underoos, or for animation. And the reason why that is all you have to do is go to Disney Plus, and there's a new Spider-Man series called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and they did not have to get permission at all from Sony to do that series. That is, they own it. They own the rights for animation and Spider-Man. So it is possible that this game could be something that the Xbox struck a deal with Don't Nod to make based on something that they did with Marvel. Remember, again, just to be clear, the only rights that Sony owns for Spider-Man are anything live action. After that, anything animated is off the table. Let's get your thoughts on this. Again, it's just a theory, but it's a little weird to see him in. I mean, he's green, right? He's green in front of you. It's definitely odd.
Yeah, it's an interesting one where it could potentially be something that they work with. Like the assumption that Sony wouldn't work with Microsoft is not realistic, right? They absolutely could.
Yeah.
Because this is not PlayStation. This is just Sony Pictures, right? So even if they do own, they make that movie, right? That made the multiverse movie that has that character,
Yes.
that specific design. They made that and published it. You're probably right that the rights for that character are still owned by Marvel. But what that deal is probably irrelevant. Sony Pictures has no issue working with anybody. That's just the way it is, right? They're separate entities. So it's not like they would say, oh, PlayStation said we can't do it. They will go do whatever makes sense, right? I'm pretty sure there was like is Ghostbusters by them as well? I think is Sony Ghostbusters. Is that Paramount?
I believe Sony owns Ghostbusters as well. Yes.
So, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft had a deal with a Ghostbusters game that was multi-plat, right? But they had like some indie deal where they were marketing a Ghostbusters game like in the 360 era, right? And again, PlayStation still existed, but I don't think they care. In other words, I think as far as the movie section, the music section, they can do whatever they want. They can partner with whoever they want. Now, this is an indie game. It's going to be an indie game, right? We're not looking at something that's a AAA level thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be at ID and Xbox. So, what this could be, I don't know. But it does seem like there's something going on where that character will be coming into a game, likely multi-plat. I wouldn't expect it to be something that's locked down, but maybe Game Pass, right? And that could be interesting, right? And that's something we might just be able to get over the coming year, right? So, interesting thing that they're putting that in there. It looks like it's tied to the movie. Now, the last movie came out like last year or 2 years ago, something like that. I think like 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, with Spot.
So I don't know if that's something like cooking, right, for another one. If they do, I don't pay attention to the movies anymore, right? So, but like if they have something cooking, then yeah, that could make sense. A more interesting one would be to do something with the show, right? The TV show, and I do know about that one because my nephew loves to watch that. So, so I see that all the time. So that would have been a more interesting tie because you have 3 characters. It gives you that multiplayer aspect, right? But then again, with into the multiverse, there was all these different Spider-Mans, right? So it's very viable that could be a nice multiplayer little thing. It could just be characters dropping into another game, right? That's also a possibility. So I don't know what this could potentially be, but it's interesting that it's there. It was taken down though, right? This was not supposed to come out right now.
Well, actually, okay.
Or is it out now?
It's out now. The trailer's out. You could watch it 100 times. I have watched it. Again, that's why I know for sure that it happened but it did leak early, and they
IGN, so now it's officially out there.
Yeah, it is officially out there. Yes.
So I mean, it could just be characters coming to another game, right? And it could be one of the many indie games that are out there that happen to have multiple characters. That's a possibility. It is pretty big though. Like Spider-Man is pretty big. So the question is where? What would make sense? And then, or it could just be a standalone indie game. This is an interesting one. I don't know where to go with it. I don't think it has anything to do with the the big Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales games.
Right.
That Sony
I agree.
PlayStation
100%.
I don't think it's anything to do with that. But it is licensed through probably Sony Pictures and through Marvel. And again, this kind of collaboration, I don't think matters. I don't think PlayStation would block it. And I especially think right now in the Hiroki Totoki world, they want to take advantage of every IP that they possibly can, right? And if they have any tie to this because they put that movie out, they're probably going to get kickbacks for it, right? So they're like, hell yes, go make a game and make money off of it. Yes, please. Why not? Especially if we have no investment in it, we just take royalties. Hell yes, do it, right? So I think that's the world they're in, right? They want to take advantage of every IP they have. So right now they still have that, and why not? So that's what it seems like to me. It's some like indie little game. As you've been pointing out, though, indies have come a long way.
Yes, they have.
They're not like, you could consider like South of Midnight an indie-ish game. You can't now because it's not an independent publisher. The publisher is Microsoft, right? But that's the quality level. It's not a AAA quality level, but who cares? Look at the game. It's freaking ridiculous what they're doing, right? So that is where we are, right? So it could very well be a very polished game. We will see what they put out there. Just more interesting stuff. And at the end of February, we're going to get another showcase, and we have all this stuff happening. I like the way that they say it. It's with the exact words, but it wasn't like just come and see the showcase. It was, we have exciting something. It's like, pumping you up, right? That there's more than just simple, like, here's some indie games, right?
Right. We're joining forces to
some
show exciting
games.
News. There you go. Yeah.
It's not just exciting games, exciting gaming news.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, something's there, right? So this could be very interesting. We'll see what they do. But yeah, I think having that Sony plus Xbox thing will be an interesting thing to do. Could there be other collaborations down the road? Probably. We will see how that plays out. At some point, PlayStation's going to have to realize, and maybe we'll get into that a bit more with the next topic.
Yeah,
that they need to take advantage of their IP that's sitting on the PlayStation side as well, and put that on Switch 2 and on Xbox to just get more leverage. Right? They're putting it on PC, but you're telling me like a 10-year-old game couldn't be put on other platforms? Because what are you doing with it? If it's just sitting there on the shelf, why not take advantage of it? So these are just things they have to kind of come up with as far as how do they leverage their IP to just pure money. Just pay somebody to port these games over to those two platforms. You sell 1 million copy between them. What the hell? It's just money in your bank. What do you lose, right? Why not, right? So this is just something hopefully they learn. You don't have to get the latest greatest games. Fine, but you take a 7-year-old game, 8-year-old game, it just makes money for them. Why not? Just like what Xbox is doing, by the way.
Yeah,
they're taking older games and saying, "Here you go,
right
here you go." It's kind of run its course on PC. It's kind of run its course on Xbox. Here you go. Let's see if we can pump up the sales numbers, get some more, engagement with some of our older games. Okay, why not? Right? It's just sitting there. Let's make some more money. Hopefully, they learn that lesson.
It's interesting because I literally said this to Kay, I think, when we were talking. Now, I've been saying for years that it's only a matter of time. And half of it is being facetious, half of it is being business. When you talk about games that are 7 years old, let's say, for instance, something like Days Gone. Days Gone supposedly is coming to PC in this Game of the Year edition. Now, what's a part of that Game of the Year edition? I don't know. I would imagine it's going to have all the bells and whistles to make it look better. It's on PC, so why wouldn't it, right? And it's going to be, it's another way for Sony to tap into people that enjoyed the game that may rebuy it, right? Okay, it's fine. Maybe people didn't buy it on PC when it originally released, and they want this Game of the Year edition. Fine, whatever. That game is old. Now, all I can say is that I'm not suggesting that is the first port coming over to Xbox, but look what happened and how well Death Stranding did on Xbox. Yes, it came out and it was discounted. Yes, I think it was $20 is what it came out for. But it was charting for a while. So people who, again, you got to remember, Death Stranding was one of these games used in the console trench wars about, hey, we got this game and you don't, for years. And then when it came to Xbox, PlayStation people were like, take our trash. We don't care. Well, a lot of people bought it. I bought it. My brother bought it. My brother platinumed it twice. and he got on Xbox 1,000 out of 1,000. He loves that game. It's crazy how much how much time he put into it. But this show is going to be interesting. But I don't know where this Miles Morales thing is going to go. But if it's Don't Nod, they work really well with Microsoft, and a lot of the times, they've had worked on some exclusive
they
stuff
have
in the
that
past.
like art style, right? They kind of
it's not one to one, but it's close.
Yeah, right. They can kind of do that art style. But look, any developer can probably do a good job with it, right? It's up to them as to how they want to do it. But yeah, Don't Nod does have that kind of like a cell shady art style, right? So.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Keosante, let me bring in. I want to hear what you have to say. So, of course, you are a huge Miles Morales fan. You really enjoyed the Spider-Verse films. And the minute I showed you this, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen again, folks, for you.
Yep.
That's Miles Morales from the films, from the animated film. That's him. That is what he looks like. A lot of people try to poo-poo it and said, "Oh no, that's the kid from Grounded." It's not. That I've seen one-to-ones. That is Miles Morales. The question is, and it's a bit facetious, if you will, because he's got the green shade. Listen, where do you think that this is going? Because I know a lot of people are trying to say that this was a mistake, an IGN mistake. I don't think so, because they would have come out and said something like, "Hey, listen, we messed up, our intern, Sally, we told her, use some hip images, and she used a Sony image. Sorry."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, look what happened with WoW a couple of weeks ago. Oh, WoW's going into Game Pass. And the minute people were freaking out, Xbox was like, "Oops, our bad. Sorry. It's not happening."
So, okay. So what's interesting about this story, and you and I talked about it this morning, what happened is the reason why it sparked my curiosity is because so a quick aside, besides gaming, we all within this gaming within this internet sphere have interesting hobbies, things we like, things that we're on the internet, googling around, searching around for. One of the things I love MCU stuff. I love what's coming up next. I'm a Marvel zombie from way back. I used to collect all the comic books. I still watch all the shit. I'm unabashed in my viewing prowess, even the schlocky stuff. I will admit it. I have seen them all. I'm actually rewatching them all chronologically, all 47 pieces of entertainment, both TV show and movie, in order to get ready for Captain America. I say all this to say, I was watching, as I do, on the scrolling through the internet, and as we are the subject matter experts in gaming, as we are, there are subject matter experts in the MCU and in movies and all of that. And they also have their YouTube channels, and I frequent many of them, right? And I just so happened that morning to watch a video before you and I spoke that was talking about the fact, and hold on to your butts here, people, hear me out, talking about the fact that they're thinking that there's rumor within that community that Sony is going to sell the rights for Spider-Man back to Disney.
Yes,
why?
That has been a running rumor for quite some time. Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because beyond the ones that Sony and Disney partnered in, the movies that did rather well, every time that Sony tries to capitalize on that world itself, it face palms like horribly, right? What do you call it?
Are you talking about Craven time, sir? Are you talking about Morbin time?
Craven the Hunter being the latest, Morbin time being a thing, even Venom, which was a financial success, all three of them. So it started strong critically, and every single one was panned more and more, right?
Yeah.
And when we here in gaming talk about, the business people are in the room and some of the business, some of the stuff they say, unlike other companies, unlike say the other company that's in the gaming space that has trillions of dollars and is always, changing their minds. We won't talk about them right now. Unlike them, these guys really, 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 really like need each department to function at the top clip in order for the business to continue functioning. So when Totoki's talking about we're here and we need money, he's not just talking about Sony, the game arm. He's talking about Sony proper, the music arm, the movie arm, where all of those parts and pieces. So with all of that in mind, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't know what this Miles Morales stuff looks like right now. I've watched the video myself. I've done it myself just to be like, hey, this is a little unusual, right? But in the world we live in right now, it looks more and more like the ideologues have left the building on all sides of the gaming business. And now it's just more about the business of doing interesting things, right? Microsoft did the first salvo. They started throwing games on PlayStation. More and more and more of them will be coming. You'll see eventually it just won't even be a question you ask anymore. And with that salvo, with the opening of the floodgates, I think more and more the idea that, oh, we're going to keep our IPs off of this other platform or off of these other people because they are our competitors, that idea is becoming antiquated. That thinking is becoming more and more antiquated. And it's not something like Jim Ryan having to change his mind. He's no longer there making decisions. The people that are there don't have the same kind of ideological bent, right? None of them really do at this point. And obviously you see what Microsoft is doing, so that's a whole different conversation. But yes, I would not be surprised that this breeds some interesting bedfellows. This brings interesting IPs into Xbox and vice versa, right? Hey, speaking of versa, haven't you heard Forza is going to PlayStation 5, right? People are very happy about that. Because that's a great IP and it's going to do a lot of interesting, great things there, right? So all of that, and I mean, I guess I'll end my screed by saying you've heard me say there's always quid pro quos going on all over the place. We may never see definitively what quid leads to pro quo right off the bat, right? You may never see that, but there's some interesting things afoot, and I'm here for it. Right, I feel like the I have to beat you on the battlefield is becoming boring. All this new interesting bedfellows is making for interesting talking points.